And then drop the brake whenever you're ready, sir. What's going on, Team Lethal fans? Joe with Lethal Performance here, and today I've got part 2 of the launch controller video. I've got my buddy here, Matt, with his 2019 S550 with the 10R80 in it. Today we're going to be dropping in the launch controller here, and we've got a little surprise under the hood for this thing, actually under the car. You'll see a little bit later in the video, but let's get to it. And now, Matt, why do you actually want this device for your car? What do you think it's going to benefit you at?
Well, the biggest idea with this launch control device is to cut down the 60-foot times. So this is a twin turbo car, and one of the hardest problems is to get them off the line without bogging down. So we're hoping that this launch controller is going to end up fixing that problem. It does have the 10R80 still in the car. It's got twin 67, so they do have to spool a little bit. So the idea is that with the converter and the trans, having this to help them out, we'll be able to 60-foot the car, get some better times at the drag strip.
Awesome, cool. So this install is actually going to be pretty easy. He's actually got the majority of the interior still in the car, so that's a cool thing to have. But overall, this is going to be a pretty easy install. We're going to do a base install. We're not going to go too crazy on hiding wires or anything like that. But just to make sure that it works, make sure everything's good to go to begin with, let's go ahead and start it off inside the interior. First things first, a lot of the cars already do this already, but we're going to go ahead and move the seat back here just a little bit so that we can give ourselves just as much clearance as we can there, because we're going to be working actually under near the pedals over here. So now that the seat's all the way back, we can go ahead and move to the pedals. So first things first, we're going to take this main harness here and tee into the accelerator pedal assembly itself. We're going to go up into the cabin there and up under the dash and actually tee into the harness themselves. So let's get to it. So as you can see here, I've already disconnected the harness from the pedal assembly here. All you have to do is pull that red tab back and push down while you're pulling out. Once you've got it all teed in, it should look something like this. So now that I have it tied in here to the pedal harness, we can go ahead and hook the main block up here to the module itself here. And we're going to need a quarter drive socket to go ahead and finish screwing that in. Next thing, if you want to, you can go ahead and route the wiring for the console control here, where you'd run it through the actual console itself here. Although just for testing purposes, we're going to go ahead and just run it open right now. So we're going to unplug this in, and then next step here, we're going to wire these two wires here to the wires that are on the controller. So now we're going to go ahead and install harness B. If you wanted to run the microswitch option, which is going to be harness A, you can go ahead and do so now. Although we're just going to go ahead and run harness B here just for demo purposes, and go ahead and install that now with the supplied taps. We're going to go ahead and tap into the stock brake harness here and get this puppy on the road. Just for your reference here, the red wire from the controller is going to go into the #1 pin wire from the harness. That's basically going to be your constant 12-volt power. And the white wire is going to go to the wire that is just to the left of that, which leads to the #2 pin in the harness. If your switch looks something like this, then you're all good to go. So now that we have everything wired up here and everything is plugged into the controller, you can start to hide all the wiring in the module up in the dash there, wherever you really prefer, and then we'll be good to go. All right, Matt, so we got everything hooked up now. We have it set to 2,000 RPM. We're just going low for the first round here, but let's go ahead and see what it can do. First things first, of course, drive, kill switch, activate kill switch, turn it on.
Kill switch on.
On. Foot on brake, hit the red button. 2,000 RPM, flat out on the gas, and then drop the brake whenever you're ready, sir. All right, that was pretty decent though. Broke up a little bit.
It started spinning, yeah.
We had it at 2,000 here. We're gonna bring it up just a little bit. All you need to do is loosen that nut there. What we need to do now for that, put your foot on the brake.
Foot's on the brake.
Kill switch is on, and we just need to press the button. Hold the car back.
Yeah, push it on the brakes.
right. Full on the brakes, hit the button. All right. We're right around 2200, 2300. Flat out on the gas, and then let go.
She was spinning a little bit, but she was moving.
All right, Matt, so what'd you think of the launch controller after a couple uses here on the street? I know it's not perfect conditions for you with this thing, but what'd you think of it?
I mean, overall, for it being really a drag car that's on the street, it hooked up pretty well. It took us a couple attempts to like dial in the RPM, so we started low, the car bogged down a little bit, we turned it up slowly. Right when we found that middle ground that was perfect, I mean, it launched perfect. I couldn't ask for a better launch. And then we tried turning it up a little more and it was blowing them loose. So obviously, depending on your power adders or if you're NA, however you have that set up, the RPM could really vary. But once you dial into the RPM you are going to use, I mean, the thing is going to be outstanding.
Cool, good to hear. I guess a couple notes just for me being from the outside of it. The car looked like it was hooking really well out of the hole, but overall you saw the results that we can get. You saw how easy it was, and overall you saw how the ease of the install and the ease of usage really came together there to get an awesome result at the end of the day out of this car. So we're excited here. We're going to be taking it up to the track here, hopefully within a week here, so a couple weeks, just to see.
Hopefully we'll get it up to the track. We're throwing it on the dyno tomorrow, so realistically, right after that dyno tune, the car should be fully dialed in. I have a couple boost maps set up for the quarter mile, and right now it's trapping in the mid 160s. So once we do a nice 60 foot on there, that should put us in a nice, decent 8-second pass range. And if we turn it up a little more, that can put us down even into the 7s. So super excited to get a 60 foot on this car to really get a number out of it.
Awesome, awesome to hear. So stay tuned for some more content on this car and on the launch controller, but for now, there was your demo, there was your install. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to reach out to me or any one of us here at Lethal Performance. You can reach out by phone at 561-753-8105 or by email at support@lethalperformance.com. Again, this is Joe with Lethal Performance, Matt with his S550, Hornet50 at Instagram, and I'm out. Big Duke.
They flew over right when I got here because I watched the thing right before I got here. Twice!
Where?
No! That was a flying one for sure.
Dude.
And the windshield.